for about the past 2 to 3 weeks, we did a heavy kind of revamp of the site. And the most important things whenever it came to doing that was getting onto a framework or using libraries that are more the standard because our old site was using WordPress, which is like an older framework. So whenever we redid our site, we used React and a lot of these more modern and more standard libraries to do that. And also because we're using those ones, that allows us to go out and hire a few more developers and also be able to build things out a lot quicker. Because instead of things being more of a process to build out, it's a lot more streamlined, and we can also push it updates in real time, and you know everything's just kind of streamlined and more efficient, and it's really nice to have that kind of foundation to where if anything we need to adjust or change, or if we want to add something new to the site or tweak something, we can do that in a matter of like a few hours, or even build something out within a week and then just push it live and just have this more agile approach to everything we're doing instead of having having a bigger process that takes weeks or a month or something like that that isn't very efficient. So, so now we can do it a lot quicker, and it's nice. Um, so we can just do a quick walkthrough of what the site currently looks like. I don't think this call will take very long, maybe like 10, 15 minutes. And and then yeah. And then on Monday we'll go live with it, which means that it'll be out there, everything on the site you guys can go ahead and use. And then like I said, since it is more streamlined, the following weeks we'll be kicking out a lot of updates, adjusting the style of it, making things look nicer, maybe tweaking the theme a little bit more, and then adding some more apps and features, just anything like that. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Cool, cool. So yeah, we this is the new homepage. So we have a few different sections like our ecosystem, our roadmap we have on here. Section for all the different solutions we have, and then there's a nice little comparison that shows the difference between Wolf certification, insurance, and the Launchpad. And the way that we've set it up is that to have the insurance or get access to the Launchpad, you have to have a certification. And to be able to get on the Launchpad, you have to have the certification and the insurance. So you can kind of think of our solutions as packages, and then the insurance is a tier up. So with the insurance, you have a certification plus insurance, and then the Launchpad, you have a certification plus insurance. Um, and we got a nice little comparison on that page. But so going back to the main one, we have our solutions, some analytics on the different assets that the DAO holds, which I think is very important to have something like that. Because, as of right now, there's a lot of focus on the ones that the like Liddy and W Liddy. And then there's confusion about what do we hold or how the DAO is structured. So the DAO is structured as, we're an investment DAO where we hold different tokens, and we hold Liddy tokens and W Liddy tokens, and those are in our portfolio. But beyond W Liddy and Liddy, we also have other assets. And so this little analytics page, we highlight um, the other ones that we have, but also including W Liddy and Liddy. So it's kind of cool. You get to see those and then the different treasuries. And then uh, we also have a new doc site. So everything on the main site is kind of like a very high level, this is what we do, this is what we offer, kind of bullet points version of Wolfworks. But for those who want to kind of dive deeper into, you know, what all is entailed in something and dive deep into that stuff, that's where the docs come into play, which is basically our white paper where every detail is in here. And then you can just kind of go around and look at the different sections, and then even on governance and how governance works, and whenever it comes to, how do I create a proposal? How do I vote on a proposal? What are the different treasuries that we have as a DAO? Calculating distributions from the DAO. So if we were going to pay out any kind of token from the DAO, there's that as well. But so from there, vote, we have our snapshot page where you can actually go and create those proposals and vote on them. And then community. But yeah, so just scrolling through here real quick. This is new homepage. So like I said, we're DAO, so we have our portfolio of different assets and our solutions. Come to ecosystem. Most of you know we have our WLD token, and then we also have our Wolfpack NFTs. And then also a lot of you guys ask, what's the difference between WLD and the NFTs? So there's just a little section here where we point out the differences between them. And then we'll go back into these things and edit them, and we can add in more detail and things that make sense every time. And but the biggest thing is we're trying to get rid of these little bottlenecks on confusion and change the way that we package information and present it. So scrolling through here, we also have a section that highlights some of the partners and things that we've invested in, hold in our treasury. Not everything we can list here, but it's just highlights for things that we can show. Then we also have like our little technology stack where we're using Polygon, Ethereum, DEX tools, and all those things. So our roadmap. You can just kind of scroll through here. It's all little bullet points and check marks of what we have and haven't done. So right now we're in Q4 of 2022. And the current plan is to go ahead and launch the doc site, the Wolfwork site on Monday, and then have a lot of these different DFs and just progress. And then once this is out here too, we can go ahead and start paying some of these marketers and influencers to go out and do some reviews and videos, explain things to their followings, and do a heavy push on that. So if you go to certification, if you want to dive deep into what a Wolf certification is and how it works, you can read through our docs. But if you want to just high level, going through this page explains why you would want one, and then lists out the different certifications. Should we go here? You can see Cold Phoenix's certification. And then also, if you wanted to request a certification. Cool, thank you. Somebody pointed in chat a little spelling mistake. Yeah, my bad. But that's the cool thing about being on React and having everything synced up with GitHub and all of that, is that something like that after this call, within 2 minutes, we'll tweak that and change that. So thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate that. So if we go to the DApps, so we have a few different ones to kind of get started. So we have a place where you can view your wallet, place where you can swap your tokens, some analytics on the portfolio. We've noticed a lot of the times, depending on who you are, things get lost in Discord announcements or Telegram announcements with events, and then it's kind of hard for people to plan around them or know what's coming up or what time. So we built out a little calendar in our site where we can post all the events, which we'll still announce them on Telegram and Discord. But if you're wanting to know all the events coming up, then this would be a good place to see them instead of having to search through Discord and Telegram to find them. It's a lot more convenient. depending on who you were. And then we also added the utility section that we talked about on our last Zoom call, where you can use the calculators and stuff. So you go to my wallet and connect this little test wallet that I have and see that my balance is 100 WLD. It's worth an entire $1.16. It's a lot. And then also there's this little section here that tells you how much of the total supply you own. So if you have a little bit more than just 100 WLD and have something like 1 million to 10 million WLD, then you would own a significant portion of the total supply. And then also the market price and market cap. If you have any of the Wolfpack NFTs, it'll also list it here and show you those. And then the wallet's total value is whatever the tokens that you hold are plus your Wolfpack NFTs, and then it just combines them all and then tells you the total. So if we get a swap, you can either sell your WLD right here, or you can buy WLD from here. But just to show as an example, so we can select Matic, USDC, or Ethereum. So if we just select USDC, type in 100 WLD. I have to approve it on this wallet. Raj just asked, is this wallet linked to MetaMask? Yes, this one is linked to MetaMask. I already have it connected on here. But if I were to hit approve, pops up. Oh wait, it might have stopped screen sharing. 1 second. It might have stopped screen sharing. But long story short, I clicked on approve, and then it popped up with the transaction where you would approve your tokens, and then after that you would click on swap, and then you would actually be able to swap. So it's all within the site now. You don't have to go to QuickSwap or anything like that. So we move on to analytics. We have these little charts and stuff, which over time we can make them more and more interactive and intuitive. And then this is just an example. So we have both certifications. These are the different solutions that we have, plus the different assets that we have in here. So in the portfolio, we have things like WLD that we bought back as a DAO that sit in our treasuries. We also hold the liquidity pool for WLD, which is WLD and USDC in that pool. We also in the DAO, we hold a lot of NFTs for domains. So like if you guys are familiar with ENS domains, so like wolfworks.eth, those kinds of things. We also hold or in Wolfpack NFTs, ETH, USDC, Coax, Liddy. We also have the 1% of the case, some other things, and then we'll continue going through and listing all those there. And then also a little section about how many holders we have, price, market cap, same thing for that. And then go through, and then you can also see the addresses of the treasuries and click on those. It'll take you to, you can also save for Etherscan or Polygon Scan or BSC Scan, because some things we hold will be on BSC or a different chain. You can view all those wallets. Going to events. This is a little calendar where you can see everything coming up. And then also it does go to your local time too. That's another nice thing about this, because there's a lot of people who get confused about EST, CST, and CET, because a lot of you are in Germany, and then CST and CET gets confused a lot. But you go here, it'll show it in your local time. So right now I'm on the East Coast, so it shows EDT. And then Wednesday we have a follow-up call where we can do a demo of the swap after it's live, answer more questions after it's live, and then just kind of walk through things again. So the utilities. So we have these two little calculators here where you can basically calculate distributions. We've gone through a lot on Telegram and wrote out the math yeah, transparency and also being flexible for the different time zones and making it easy for everybody is important. But thank you. So yeah, the distribution calendar or calculator, we've gone through, typed it out a lot on Telegram, but us typing it out every time, it doesn't allow people to just go in and do it themselves. And then, so we made this, and you can type in your WLD balance. So if you had 200,000 WLD, and the reason why we say token distributed is because as a DAO, we can pay out USDC, but we're not limited to USDC. So if we're ever going to do an airdrop for a different token or pay out from the treasury, like this is just an example. I'm not saying we would do this, but something like Coax or any of the other tokens, um, we can do that. So we're not limited to just USDC. And that's also why right here we have this option to tweak what the value is per token of that token being distributed. Because with USDC, it's always going to be $1 per token. But if it was something like if we were going to distribute or airdrop a bunch of WLD from the treasury, for example, then the price would be around 1.2 cents right now. But yeah, so we put in $1, and then let's say we pay out as a DAO a million USDC, and you had 200,000 WLD sitting in your wallet. So whenever you break that down into that formula, you would receive 104 USDC, and you would have $104 worth of USDC because USDC is pegged to $1. But let's say it was a token that was $2. So then it would go through and do the math of you would get 104 of those tokens, and then if they're $2 per token, you would get 280 bucks. So people can go in here and play around with this instead of having to try to figure out the formula or ask us. And then same thing here, we have a little calculator whenever it comes to Liddy tokens and how the calculation and the breakdowns are done on there. And so, as some of you know, there is withholding tax, and then depending on where you are for Liddy, there's different ways that you can get that back where it is taxed and all that. So we didn't include that here because it depends on where you are. But like, for example, let's take one of their smaller cases and say that they won $200 million. Then they own 5% of that case. And let's say they had like $200,000 worth of expenses. And this is just an example. It's not hard numbers or anything like that. So if we break that down, 5% of 200 million will be $10 million. Subtract 200,000 because that was their expenses. 1.9 million goes to the A shares, and then the rest of it, or 80% of it, goes to Liddy holders. And then it goes down to the amount per Liddy, and then also just breaks it down again to what it would be for WLD as an example. But it's important to have this too, because whether you hold Liddy or WLD, if you hold WLD, it still matters to you what's going on with Liddy token, because we do hold Liddy tokens in our treasury. So this is what we're gonna launch on Monday, and then from there we can continue to build things, but this gives us a nice little foundation to start with and build on top of, and kind of rapidly develop and innovate from there. So Raj just asked, could you also add a line of dollar per WLD? Yes, we can do that. Yeah, we can add a line there too, specifically, so that way we can break that down one step further. But even if we so let's say yeah, we can do that. Yeah, which they are tools for WLD holders. And this breaks it down per Liddy. But if you get the value per Liddy, um, then you would be able to have a number to go back in here and type in your WLD. So for WLD was that, and then I think the number was around what, $1 USDC. So I think the number we used in the last example, it came out to 7.8 million, something like that, for per Liddy token. So if we plug that number in here, then we can get what it is per WLD too. But that's the thing too, is like once we launch with it, we can see how people use these and interact with them, and then we'll get a lot of feedback on those things, and then we can, within a few hours, couple of days, or a week, depending on how labor intensive those things are to do, then we can go in there and do them very quickly. And then we have a lot of plans for what we can add here. For example, like under my wallet, it gives us a foundation where we can see our values and everything. But for the NFTs, it would be cool to have a little viewer where you can see your NFTs, and then whenever we build things around those NFTs, it'll all be done within here. But those things do take a little bit more time to do. But so to get something off of the ground, this is what we have to start with, and then we'll continue building all those different things on over time. But yeah, it goes live on Monday, and I think that's all I have for now, right now.
Awesome.
So Raj said the NFT viewer would be a cool feature. Yeah, it would. And it definitely would. It's definitely on the list just to get out there. So in the next couple to few weeks, we can probably get something out there. But with building a foundation and everything, it's hard to squeeze all that in at once. But from here, we can just keep rolling those things out over time. So question, how is this website being paid for? So right now, a lot of the work is being done by us here within our little group, which is sponsored by some of the bigger WLD holders. And then also a lot of us are WLD holders. So anything that's good for Wolfworks is obviously good for us if we can, have a good project, have things go through the certification, build up the value of our portfolio and all that. So a lot of us aren't super greedy with wanting to get paid, and we just want our project to do well, if that makes sense. But whenever it comes to other developers, because right now we are doing these things, and then we have a couple of people for development and help with things. But whenever we're always looking for new people to hire. So if you guys ever know anybody or come across anybody that knows things like React or Web3 development, Solidity, any of those kinds of things, we're always looking for people to take on. But eventually the way it's going to work for pay is that things are paid for through grants from the treasury. So basically, whenever DAOs go out and do projects or hire teams to build out projects, they'll basically go to their snapshot page or Aragon, whatever platform they're using. They'll create a proposal that says, hey, we want to take this amount of money and allocate it to fund this. And then whenever everybody votes on it, that piece of development will be funded and that team will go out and build that piece. So eventually we'll move more towards that, but right now we're very, very motivated holders and also have a little sponsor budget and stuff to kind of get going. But do you guys have any other questions or anything like that before we hop off? Cool. Cool. I think we're good then. So
Awesome. Right. Thank you for taking the time to walk us through this.
yeah, anytime. And like the biggest thing is I'm excited because it's like we'll be able to eventually. I'm trying to think of how to word this. Give me 1 second. I'm excited because we're more on something where we can just quickly build and tweak and change things and just and do a lot of these things. And a lot of these things can either be done by us, people in the DAO, or holders, or people that React developers that we bring on and hire outside of people we already know too. And all those things means that we can just like continue to develop, innovate, scale things up, and it's just fun because it's like if within the next 2 to 3 weeks we can just we launch this on Monday, within 2 to 3 weeks we roll out an NFT viewer and we just keep throwing these things out there and making things cleaner, nicer, and more utility, and it's just fun. And then that's on top of like the insurance and all the other things that we're working on, right? So it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super duper nice to have a website put together that we can go and pivot on so quickly.
So any dates, board cases, or dividend payouts? No, we have not heard any updates recently. Cool.
Awesome.
Cool. Sounds good. So hope you
All
guys
right.
have a good day and then see
Yep.
you on Monday.
Like Riley said, the release will be on Monday, and then we'll be doing a follow-up call on Wednesday where we'll be going over everything in depth, doing a community walkthrough, going over some of our plans as far as what we're going to be doing with the new site and what it means for the DAO as a whole, and some other things like that. So definitely stay tuned.
Cool.
All right. See you guys.
Cool. Bye.